They say a stroke comes without warning. 1 second, laughter, a morning coffee, a walk in the garden. The next, silence, confusion, a sudden collapse. Picture this. A man, 62 years old, sitting at breakfast. He reaches for his cup and then his arm freezes. His words get tangled. His wife calls his name, but he can't answer. Panic sets in. The clock is ticking. Every minute lost is brain lost. Stroke is not just a scary word, it's a thief that steals memories, speech, movement. And after 60, the risk doubles, triples. Yet here's the secret. It doesn't have to be inevitable. Do you know what happens every 40 seconds? Someone in the world suffers a stroke. 40 seconds. That's faster than you can finish reading this sentence. And most of them, over 60 years old. But why does it hit so hard, so suddenly? What if I told you there's a simple habit, a single choice, that doctors say can cut this risk dramatically? Something you eat, something powerful enough to guard your brain, protect your heart, and keep you moving for years. You might think, stroke? That's for others, not me. But here's the truth. It's closer than you think. Your neighbor, your best friend, maybe even you. And it's waiting for the right moment. The moment when your body lets its guard down. That moment can be stopped, reversed, fought. Imagine waking up tomorrow morning knowing your brain is protected. Your blood flows clear, smooth, like a calm river. You move with strength. You laugh freely without fear. The choice is on your plate, literally. Doctors worldwide have been shouting about this one simple food. The key to preventing stroke after 60. And no, it's not a miracle pill or some rare superfruit from the Amazon. It's something accessible, something you can eat today. But before I tell you what it is, think about this. Why are strokes still the #1 cause of disability and death in people over 60? Why, with all our knowledge, does it still sneak in and shatter lives? Because no one talks about the power of food in this fight. Not really. They hand out medications, scans, warnings, but the real shield lies in your daily habits, in what you put on your fork. And if you ignore this, if you keep missing this crucial step, the price is steep. So listen closely, because what I'm about to share can change everything. Ready? Let's dive into the story of a man who learned this the hard way, who found hope on his plate and gave himself a second chance. A story that could be yours. Tom was 63, a retired teacher, a grandfather, the kind of man who greeted every morning with a slow stretch and a quiet smile. Life after work was supposed to be peaceful. Fishing on weekends, reading in his armchair, family dinners filled with laughter. But something was wrong. It started small, a twinge in his leg, a dizzy spell after lunch. He shrugged it off. Just getting older, he told himself. Nothing to worry about. One morning, Tom woke up feeling heavier than usual. His left hand was numb. I'll wait it out, he thought. But by noon, words tangled in his mouth. His daughter noticed. Dad, you're not making sense, she said, alarm sharp in her voice. The ambulance came. The hospital buzzed with urgency. Stroke, the doctor said, with no room for doubt. Tom's world stopped. In that sterile room, surrounded by beeping machines, he saw his life flash like a movie. All the moments he still wanted. I don't want this to be the end, he whispered. That's when the real fight began. Weeks of therapy, frustration, small victories. He relearned how to walk, how to speak. But the fear lingered. What if it happened again? And then, during a routine checkup, his doctor asked, What's on your plate, Tom? Tom blinked. Food? Could eating change this? He started learning. Research, advice, stories. He discovered one thing kept coming up. A certain food that wasn't just healthy, but life-saving. It wasn't fancy. It wasn't expensive. It was simple. Tom made a choice to change his diet, to fight back with every bite. Months later, he was different. Not just physically stronger, but mentally sharper. The numbness faded. The fear lessened. His mornings began with that food. His afternoons were filled with walks. His evenings, stories with his grandchildren, laughter echoing through the house. I'm not just surviving, Tom said one day, eyes shining. "I'm living." Tom's story isn't unique. It's the story of thousands who faced stroke and taken back control. And it all started with one choice on their plate. Are you ready to meet the food that changed Tom's life? Because it might just change yours too. Imagine your blood vessels as highways, smooth, wide roads where traffic flows freely. Now picture what happens when those roads start to clog. Potholes, traffic jams, accidents. That's exactly what happens inside your arteries as you age, especially after 60. Plaque builds up, fatty deposits, cholesterol, little sticky things that narrow your vessels. Blood can't flow as easily. The brain, that delicate command center, starts to starve for oxygen and nutrients. This is the silent danger. When a clot blocks the narrowed artery, or a vessel bursts because of pressure, that's a stroke. Sudden, devastating. But here's where food comes in. Certain foods aren't just fuel, they're protectors. Imagine them as street sweepers, clearing the lanes. They flush out bad cholesterol, reduce inflammation, the fiery enemy that damages vessels, and keep your blood flowing like a clear mountain stream. Doctors talk about antioxidants, omega-3s, fiber. Words that sound complicated but mean simple things. Antioxidants are like tiny firefighters battling free radicals, unstable molecules that attack your cells. When free radicals run wild, your vessels weaken, walls get fragile, and plaque builds up faster. Omega-3 fatty acids found in certain foods act like oil on rusty hinges. They keep your blood smooth, prevent clots, and lower blood pressure, a major stroke trigger. Fiber? Think of it as a broom sweeping excess cholesterol out of your body before it can cause trouble. Here's a metaphor. Your body is a garden. Stroke is a sudden wildfire, sparked by dryness and neglect. The right foods, they are the rain, the soil nutrients, the gardeners tending every leaf and root. They keep your system strong, resilient. Scientists have shown that after 60, the risk of stroke climbs steeply because these natural defenses weaken. But by regularly eating foods rich in these protective elements, you rebuild those defenses. So it's not magic, it's chemistry, biology. The food Tom started eating works on these levels, clearing his arteries, calming inflammation, lowering his blood pressure. You don't have to be a scientist to understand this. Just think of your body as a finely tuned machine, and every day you choose the oil and the care that keep it running smoothly. Next, I'll tell you exactly what food doctors recommend. But remember, it's not just about eating, it's about feeding your life. First, let me tell you about Mary. She's 67, a retired nurse, and for years her mornings started the same way. A quick cup of strong coffee on an empty stomach. "It gave me energy," she'd say. But here's the catch. That morning ritual was quietly harming her blood vessels. Coffee on an empty stomach? It spikes your blood pressure and strains your arteries, the same pressure that can trigger a stroke. One day, Mary felt dizzy, a wake-up call she couldn't ignore. Her doctor told her, "Swap that coffee for a bowl of oatmeal with berries. It's slow-releasing energy, packed with fiber and antioxidants. It calms your system instead of shaking it." Mary made the change. Weeks later, she noticed something. More steady energy, clearer mind, no more dizzy spells. Simple? Yes. Powerful? Absolutely. Second, meet George. He loved his fried foods, crispy, golden, tempting. But every bite was a risk. Those fats clog arteries like leaves blocking a drainpipe during a storm. George had a scare. His chest tightened during a walk. It wasn't a stroke, but a warning siren. He decided to swap fried foods for nuts and olive oil, healthy fats that actually protect the heart and brain. It was hard at first. Old habits die slow, but slowly George's stamina returned. His doctor smiled. "You're rewiring your body's defense system." Third, Anna's story. She lived alone, often skipped meals, grabbed snacks high in salt and sugar. Sound familiar? Salt raises blood pressure. Sugar fuels inflammation, both prime stroke triggers. Anna started cooking simple meals, colorful veggies, lean proteins, whole grains. She found joy in the kitchen again, sharing meals with friends. Her blood pressure dropped. Her doctor said, "You're not just eating, Anna, you're healing." These aren't just tips, they're lifelines. Your plate can be a battlefield or a fortress. What you choose to put on it can tip the scales between risk and resilience. So, start small. Swap, add, change. Each choice is a step away from stroke, a step toward life lived fully. Look, I'm not here to preach. This isn't some lecture about rules or strict diets. It's a conversation, you and me, about life. You've seen the risks, you've heard the stories, and you know now the power is in your hands, because this isn't about age, it's about choice, about the small, everyday moments that add up to something bigger. Imagine waking up each day with strength in your step, clarity in your mind, and calm in your heart. No fear lurking in the shadows, just life, real, rich, full. Tom found it. Mary, George, Anna, they found it too. Ordinary people making extraordinary choices. And so can you. Don't wait for a warning sign. Don't wait for the scare that shakes you awake. Start today. Look at your plate. What can you add? What can you change? What simple habit can become your shield? This is your story now, not the story of a stroke statistic, but a story of resilience, hope, and courage. You deserve to live fully, to laugh loudly, to move freely, to savor every moment without fear. So take that first bite, not just of food, but of life itself.